RYOBI has over 300 tools on one battery platform. When you walk into Home Depot, it can be seriously confusing and it's ridiculously easy to pick the wrong tools. Like, which one of these are better? Who knows? Well, I do, and I want to tell you exactly what to buy and what to avoid so you don't waste your money on these tools. And pick the right ones first. Let's go. If you'd like to check out any of the tools that I show today in this video, I'm gonna link those in the description, the pinned comment. You can also click the View Products button here on YouTube, or if you have your phone with you watching on TV, scan that QR code, take you right to my website where I have these linked. Now, let's talk about what to buy and what not to buy. RYOBI makes literally hundreds of tools. They may make more tools than any other manufacturer. There are so many to choose from. There's also multiple battery platforms now with the 18 volt, the 40 volt, the USB lithium. There's also outdoor tools, there's shop tools. There's even recreational tools like coolers and fans and all sort of stuff. So in this video, we're going to talk about the only tools you should actually be starting with from RYOBI, plus some you can buy later, and of course, those you want to skip. And you want to stick around because one of the most useful RYOBI tools isn't even a woodworking tool. It's kind of interesting. Before we talk tools, let's make RYOBI simple to understand. Now, there's several different lines in RYOBI's platform now. If you look at their battery types, you have 18 volt, you have 40 volt, you now have 80 volt, and you have USB lithium. Now there's some differences there in those tools, and most may be obvious, but for the most part, 18 volt refers to most of their power tools like this. There are some 40 volt tools. Of course, a lot of those are outdoor tools, but they are expanding that line into recreational stuff as well. And then there's the USB lithium stuff, which are basically smaller batteries. But beginners really only need to know about one platform at first, and that is the One Plus line from RYOBI, because that's where most all of your woodworking tools are going to live. A lot of your recreational tools, even outdoor power tools, can use this battery. And what's absolutely amazing about RYOBI is this battery, this exact same battery style, will fit tools that they made 30 years ago this year in 2026. They started in 1996 with this battery style, and this battery will fit those tools made in 1996. Very few other platforms, let me know if I'm mistaken, very few, if any, can still use their original cordless tool batteries. Most of them have changed over the years, but RYOBI has stuck to it so that they have backward compatibility, and that is huge in a lot of people's eyes. So if you're new with RYOBI tools, stick to the 18 volt line. There's some tools you should buy in this 18 volt line that we're going to talk about, but overall, this is where the most value lives currently with RYOBI, in my opinion. Now, if you walk into Home Depot or go to homedepot.com and start looking at RYOBI tools, the selection is almost endless and it can be quite confusing. You're like, where do I start? Well, instead of asking what tools you should buy first, let's talk about what are you going to use those tools for, because that's what's going to make the biggest difference. First, if you're looking for DIY projects or you're a homeowner, there's some RYOBI tools that's going to help you fix the things around the house, like hanging pictures or shelves, fixing stuff at the house, just general tasks you would want to do. Number one, the good old drill. You can buy the drill with a battery and a charger. Very reasonable in the RYOBI platform. There's several different models to choose from. I would suggest get the One Plus HP, and we'll talk about why in a little bit. That's basically their top of the line, and they're very, very good drills. I put this RYOBI drill up against some of the top competitors, and it performs just like them. It's a drill that works extremely well, and you can pick it up and get started very easily at a good price. Next, you probably want to pick up a jigsaw, just because you're going to need to cut things with it. And it's one of the best jigsaws I've ever used. I absolutely love the barrel grip style, so it has this nice long grip where your hand goes. It's very easy to cut curves with this thing. It's a very powerful little jigsaw. Things, again, one of the best I've used. And you'll probably want to pick up a circular saw and maybe a sander, but there's a couple sanders you should probably avoid, which we'll get into. Now, if you're a woodworking beginner and you're just getting started, this is where it kind of starts getting exciting for me anyway, because the options here have gotten much, much better over the last couple of years. They've come out with some brand new tools that are very impressive. First, obviously you want a drill and an impact combo. I think you should buy that first. It's going to give you a drill, a couple of batteries, plus that impact for driving screws, things like that. And you can also get a circular saw sometimes in these combos, but we're going to talk about those in a few minutes because it can be confusing on those as well. But a circular saw is a must-have in woodworking, in my opinion. Also, their new One Plus HP router is one of the better ones on the market. It's a fantastic little router for doing little profiles on the edges of your work, like creating roundovers, chamfers, or even cutting small grooves, that sort of thing. It's one of the most useful tools a woodworker will ever buy. And there's some projects that are going to require a jigsaw. If you're making charcuterie boards with weird looking handles, things like that, these will come in key. And finally, the brad nailer. These things are very useful to have in and around the shop for tacking things up to hold them in place while the glue dries, or just building complete projects with a brad nailer. I've had this brad nailer for a couple of years now. Been seriously impressed with it. I had the previous model before the ONE+ HP. Loved it as well. Or path number 3, you're not looking for DIY project tools, you're not looking for woodworking tools, but you are looking for garage and home tools. RYOBI has those covered too, because they have a ton of options, especially in outdoor power equipment, that they just keep adding to. If you look at Home Depot or HomeDepot.com, you're going to see 2 different battery lines for their outdoor tools, 18 volt or the 40 volt. In my opinion, if you're going with the outdoor tools, get the 40 volt. You're going to get better battery life, more power out of the tools. I have several outdoor power tools from RYOBI in the 40 volt line. I've been nothing but impressed with them. I have a string trimmer, I have a lawnmower, and I do have a chainsaw. All of them have been very good. We've used them over a year now with our little small yard we have, and they worked extremely well. They even now have riding lawnmowers, 0-turn, cordless lawnmowers in the 80 volt platform, which is insane. So if you're looking for the outdoor tools, I would just skip the 18 volt line, unless you already have the 18 volt batteries and you want to pick up one of their 18 volt string trimmers, something like that. I think that's fine. But if you're starting new, I would go 40 volt. And another thing to keep an eye on are RYOBI batteries. Now, this one battery worked with tools way back to 1996, but the battery technology has advanced over the years. Even though they've kept the same profile that fits in the same tools, there are better batteries versus the old batteries, or even some that are just a few years old, like this RYOBI ONE+ battery. This is an older technology now. If you look, there are now batteries called Edge batteries. You'll see this logo on them. Both 40 volt and 18 volt have Edge on there. This battery is the latest technology. It's a tabless technology inside. These batteries have more power. We've used the same tool with the Edge battery versus the standard battery, and there's a massive difference in the power output that's coming in. And these batteries just last longer as far as runtime goes. So if you can budget the Edge batteries, I would highly recommend picking them up. Or if you already have RYOBI batteries and you haven't tried the Edge batteries, give them a shot. I think you'll be impressed. Now, before you go buy any RYOBI tools, let's talk about 3 of the biggest mistakes I see beginners make when they start buying these tools. I made them myself. Mistake number 1, this is the one I made. Buying too many tools too fast. You go into the Home Depot or you're shopping online, they have a nice sale, you pick up this tool. And then you pick up the next tool, and then you pick up the next tool. And the next thing you know, you got a whole wall full of tools that you barely use, or at least some of them on the wall you don't use as much. Are they nice to have? Sure, but sometimes you're just wasting your money because it's a tool that you may not ever use, or at least not use enough to justify the cost. So what I would suggest is buying the core tools first, drill, circular saw, if you're a woodworker, router, maybe jigsaw, nailer, and then go from there as you see the need. Mistake number 2, I kind of touched on it already, but buying the tool based on the price versus the use. You see a good deal, it's very hard to pass up, but sometimes you just gotta let it go. Try not to impulse buy on those deals if you don't actually need the tool. Mistake number 3 is ignoring organization. RYOBI has an amazing organization system we'll touch on in a minute, but keeping your tools organized lets you know exactly where they are so you don't spend 20 minutes digging through a pile of junk that you know you probably have a tool in there somewhere. You know exactly where to go to get that tool, so it's going to help you manage your time better. And if you have a family and a full-time job and you're trying to do your DIY projects or woodworking projects on the side, time management is one of the most difficult things to nail down. And searching for a tool for 20 or 30 minutes is one of those things that's just a waste of time. Keeping everything organized is one of the best things I ever did in this shop, was just to organize everything so I know where it's at most of the time. Next, if I was starting with RYOBI all over again, these are the tools I would absolutely skip and not buy for a few reasons. Number 1, the lower end combo kits. The first thing I bought was a big combo kit full of tools, and they were all the ONE+ tools. These tools, this tool, and several others. They're not the ONE+ HP. If I was starting over, I would absolutely spend a little bit of extra money if you can budget it, and only if you can budget it. Get the ONE+ HP versus the ONE+ line. The battery life's better, the power's better. They're just overall better made tools. You can even feel the difference in the quality when you pick them up. It's quite significant. And I would just avoid the big combo kits altogether unless every tool in that combo kit is something you're going to use. Now, if you just pick up the drill and impact combo, it's fine. But if you look at the other ones where they have work lights and this tiny circular saw and all this sort of thing that you may or may not use, make sure those tools are something you want instead of just buying because it's showing to be on a discount. Mistake number 2, touched on it, smaller circular saw. I don't really care for small circular saws. They have their place. I know a lot of you take tiny circular saws to the store to break down goods, to get them to your SUVs and minivans or vans, things like that. If that's a use case for you, it's perfectly fine. I just don't have that use case. I would prefer to spend my money on a bigger circular saw that would be more useful around the shop for me. But that is a personal choice, obviously. Let me know in the comments if you use and love a small circular saw and why you use it. Next, I would avoid the cordless sander. This cordless sander is not bad. It's not awful, but it's also not amazing. When you compare it to a more higher end and much more expensive Makita or Festool or some of those other high-end cordless sanders, there is a night and day difference. And the reason I would avoid this sander, for one, battery life's not going to be amazing. You're in about 30 or so minutes, maybe a little less than 30 minutes on your batteries, using a 4 or 5 amp hour battery on these sanders. The quality's fine. It's not as powerful as you would if you just got a corded sander for probably a little bit less than you'll pay for this sander. I have touted this sander as the best sander under $100 for a long time now. This is a DeWalt sander. This is what I would buy instead of this. It's corded, so if you have a place to plug it in, you don't have to worry about battery life. Has plenty of power, does a solid job with sanding. I like this sander quite a bit. Again, I've talked about it for a long time. I'm just not a fan of the lower end sanders like this unless you're just doing a small DIY project or something around the house, you just need a quick sanding. If you're in woodworking, you're going to be disappointed after a little while with these sanders, battery life, finish quality, especially if you have the opportunity to compare it to a better sander. You'll see what I mean. And finally, the last tool I would avoid from RYOBI is their table saw. I'm not a fan of it. I think they could do a much better job, and I am hoping so much that in 2026 we see a brand new RYOBI table saw with a proper fence. The problem with their fence is there's just not enough meat there for it to square up. You'll get a little floppy on you. Not a fan of this style. It may work perfect for you, but it's just not my taste. If I was spending my money on a table saw on a budget and I was looking for a beginner table saw, the Skill is one of the best on the market. It's right around $300, $330. It is a solid table saw that you could use for years and be perfectly happy with. And here's something that most people don't realize. RYOBI isn't just about building or even maintaining your lawn. They're also about organization. RYOBI Link. Over the last year or so, I've been buying more and more RYOBI Link. This wall organization system, it's rails that just screw right to your wall, and then you add any of the accessories that you want, like the battery holders for 18-volt batteries and 40-volt batteries, as well as these tool holders, which I think is absolutely amazing. Somebody made fun of me and said, your shop's starting to look like a Home Depot store. Thank you. I like being able to come and grab this when I need it. I can see it on the wall, and I put it back when it's done. So I know where my router is. I know where my recip saw is. I know where the little work lights are. I know exactly where everything is because I can see it and I'm not digging for it. These are some absolutely great organizations that I really like. They also have a little drill station that'll work with any drill setup that you may have. I have several drills hanging in there, and of course battery chargers and shelves and all that stuff. RYOBI Link, seriously impressive organization. Even small parts organization, keep that on the wall too. I'm a huge RYOBI fan. I have been for a long time, since I started buying their tools a long time ago. And one of the best things about RYOBI is these batteries power more than just tools. Some pretty cool stuff. One of the most useful things I think RYOBI has is this little battery inverter. You can just take this, put it on any of your 18-volt batteries, and now you can be able to charge your devices during a power outage, which is really cool. And of course, if you travel, things like that, it's good to have. Also, they have several different work lights. Several different. We have this big old tower light that is perfect for power outages, or if you're just working in dark spaces, this thing is super bright. And we also tried to power some tools on the top. Didn't really work all that well. This is a tri-power work light, so it'll use a 40 volt, an 18 volt, or you could just plug it in using an extension cord. They also have a little inflator for your tire that's almost the size of your hand that works extremely well. When it gets colder, the tires kind of get a little low on air, so I don't have to stop at a service station and get them aired up. I just have this little RYOBI 18 volt, put the battery in there, and it aired up my tires in my truck and my wife's vehicle very easily. A cool feature is you set the pressure you want, so if it's 35 pounds, when it gets to that, it just stops. And speakers or job site radios, they have one of the best sounding job site radios that I've ever heard. This thing is amazing. I have a Festool top right back here that sounds really good. RYOBI beats them. Milwaukee's job site speaker, RYOBI beats them. It just sounds good. They also have various fans if you travel, or if you go to ball games or something with your kids, you can have a nice little fan with you. Or we had a leak in our bathroom, and so we put this fan in there just to help circulate some air in there. So it's very useful just to have around. I actually use it on my desk now when I'm walking. I have a little walk pad thing. Put the fan on there, blows air on me. Pretty nice little thing. I don't personally own them, but they also have a cooler that you can use your batteries with, and it's basically like a little portable refrigerator. Keeps things cold. And they also have power inverters, things like that. There's a bunch of stuff going on in this 18-volt platform, and if history tells us anything, for 30 years they've used the same battery. I would assume they're going to keep doing it, which gives you quite a bit of peace of mind there, in my opinion. There's two things that have surprised me the most about RYOBI Tools after buying them and using them for the last few years. Number one, I like them more than I thought. The first set of tools that I bought was a combo kit. I thought, I'll get these, I'll show them on video, and I'll probably not like them very much. But I got the tools, and I thought, some of these are pretty good. They're fairly useful, even the ones that were the One Plus tools. I was impressed with the price to value option that I was giving there. Once I started getting the One Plus HP tools, I thought, man, these are just as good as my DeWalt or even my Milwaukee or any of the other tools that I've tested. They're perfectly fine for most all things you're going to use them for. That surprised me. The second most surprising thing about RYOBI Tools is how much hate there is out there. That's really true for any brand, because if somebody buys a bunch of red tools, automatically they hate the green ones or the yellow ones or whatever. I always find that very weird. It's almost like a Ford and Chevy debate. Who's right, who's wrong? Does it really matter? Is it their money? No, it's yours. So if you like the tools, just use them. I can't tell you how many hateful comments I've gotten when showing a RYOBI tool, or even random yahoos making a video calling me a liar because my tools aren't dirty. I keep them clean. It's sawdust. How much dirt do you think is going to pile up on a sawdusty tool? You take a leaf blower, blow it off, magically it's clean again. Not a liar. I just like RYOBI tools. And if you don't like them, go kick a rock. I think most people just get way too emotionally invested into which tool brand's better than the other. Just buy what you like. If it's getting the job done for you, that's really all that matters, especially if you're comfortable spending the money on the tools you're using and you like them. Why does it matter what anybody else thinks? It don't. And I don't care what they think either. If I like a tool, I'll say I like it. If I don't, I'll say I don't, just like their table saw. I don't like it. RYOBI knows I don't like it. Now here's some battery advice. Don't overthink this stuff. If you're going to get regular power tools like drills, circular saws, all that sort of thing, you're going to go with the 18 volt. If you're going with outdoor power tools, get the 40 volt. And if you can budget it, get the Edge batteries. They're much better, but most of your combo kits in the One Plus HP line will come with the high performance batteries. They're really good too, but the Edge batteries are slightly better. But I think right now, if I'm not mistaken, you have to buy the Edge batteries separately. So it may not be worth the investment to begin with, but over time you can add those as you want. And then if you're looking for the USB lithium line, there's some really cool tools in there as well, like a heated seat that if you go to ball games, football games, things like that, sitting on cold bleachers, or if you're a hunter, that may be a great option for you to warm your tush. And there's also a little screwdriver USB lithium, and one of the best sounding little small speakers is their USB lithium speaker. They have a lot of good options in that platform as well. Overall, I'm very happy with the RYOBI tools that I've purchased and used over the years, and I'm very happy to see the innovation. They're probably one of the most innovative tool companies that we have on the market today. They just keep putting out new tools. It seems like every month or so, you're getting brand new tools coming out from RYOBI. They're upgrading their old lines. You're getting better performance. You're getting better battery life, and it just keeps getting better. What's not to love? Unless you're a hater. Now, this video was not sponsored by RYOBI at all. They didn't pay me to make this video, but I get so many questions about RYOBI tools that I wanted to make one video to try to answer them all. I hope it helped. If you like this video, there's a RYOBI regrets video I made not too long ago that a lot of people really like. Click in that box, get you the big old virtual fist bump, or the $25 RYOBI tool that flying off the shelf.